Good morning, my YouTube family. I know it's been a while and I completely apologize. We now have Thanksgiving over and, well, I'm going to take you on a special tour today just for a little bit, and then we're going to have some coffee moment. But I had told you how way back in the beginning when I first started this channel, how we had bought this little one-bedroom cabin. We call it our little cabin house. When we bought it, it was completely gutted out. It was burnt, and at the same time, I sat down in the middle of the floor and wondered what the heck have we had done. The cabinets were this ugly pea soup color and had burnt all over it from smoke inhalation. The ceilings in this place were completely gone and gutted. From this kitchen all the way down to the living room was nothing but an empty space. And we, over time, have filled that in. Now, this place is not perfect by far. But this Thanksgiving, each time that life goes on, I become a little bit more thankful and a little bit more humbled. And I guess this started back with me in 2020, where I started appreciating more in life. And when my husband started helping, we teamed together on this house, and he started coming up with some ideas using old material that we had, like our cabinets. As you've seen here, we took the cabinet doors off because they were completely burnt. And then right here, he sanded this down because these were burnt. We pulled off, it was the paint that was on it. If you heated it, it peeled. It was a really bad type of paint. So we started peeling it and sanding it. And what he did is took a torch after we stained it. We torched it and then stained it. And it brought out the burnt effect on the house. And he had custom built our table, and I'll show you that as well, with the same aspect. Before we min-waxed it or we sealed it in, he had burned it. Now, the purpose to that burning was there was something about this house that God had showed us. I mean, this isn't the place personally where we wanted to be at. We wanted a farm and a farmhouse, and well, we end up getting a borderline country city house. It was a one-bedroom place. One we didn't think we could turn into a homestead. 5 years later, we absolutely did. But there was something about this house when we first got it. We just could hear this faint heartbeat. There was life in this place that looked totally dead. The body of it and the whole frame of the house was really solid, even though the rest of it was gone. It was still a solid foundation. So, in the process of putting our home together, we kept hearing turning our ashes into beauty. And so it just clicked on me one day, and then I shared it with my husband. I said, you know, we're repurposing a lot of things in this house. What if we actually burnt some of these and then put those ashes into a beauty and give this house what was once destruction to it and embellish it into what God had done by putting the right people within it? And that became very deep to me as I was reminded over Thanksgiving how to be thankful for what I have. We do not have anything fancy. There are a lot of homesteads that you will see in their videos, in their backgrounds, and they just have an absolutely gorgeous home. I have a simple home. I have a one-bedroom, simple home, and I couldn't be more blessed in my life. In the times that we are living in, I give thanks because I can lay my head down on my pillow every night and we don't have a house payment. I give thanks every evening when I know that I could have a roof over my head, food on my table, because we can literally grow it outside. What more? Ooh. What more could anybody ever want? Sometimes we get lost in the world. We think that we need all of these riches. We need all of this and we need all of that. But when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, there was something I seen on Facebook, and yeah, okay, so I'm bringing up Facebook. Before I take you on this journey where I'm on right now, I will be back with that, but I want to take you through a small tour of what this little cabin home looks like for Christmas this year. So let me take you with me. Okay, y'all, so these ceilings up here, all this room was completely gutted out. And we had rebuilt all these walls. We had built this table. And so this is here where I'm standing in this kitchen from what you've seen all the way down to our living room. Now this is our little cabin. And I'm going to take you through. Again, it's not perfect, y'all. It is lived in. So, I mean, I'm going to take you through here as much as I can. This is that beautiful table that my husband built for us. And again, he did the ashes or the burning on here. We turned our ashes into beauty. And then we have our centerpiece. We have our little tree right there. And then we come in here into our country living room with our country tree right here against the wall there. Our door all the way down to our deer. So, and now let me go slower with that. Sorry about that. But we also have something else that we embellished our cabin with. And so this keeps us warm in the winter. This here is an amazing heater. Right now I'm sitting here very cozy. This thing may be small, but don't get it underestimated. In this house, it will literally run us out. So, and what I love about this, I can choose literally to cook. If you'll see on the top of this, I can actually cook on the top of this if I wanted to save electricity. If we lose power, we have a way to cook and stay warm at the same time. This thing was the most beautiful thing that we bought when we first bought this house 5 years ago. This was the first purchase that was ever made. We just recently started putting this into our cabin last year, and it had saved us over the electric last year of $150. We used, these are tiles that we broke and made into mosaic wall pieces like stone. We had 3 different color floor tiles that we broken into pieces like this. Then it is cemented. Behind this wall is a cement wall. Behind that is actually our wood walls. So this thing has got a structure of 3 layers. Plus, it has double to triple insulation insert that goes all the way through here to the wall on the other side, and then our pipes. So we have thoroughly fireproofed this area as well, all the way down to its stand is the same thing as what we have on the walls. This again is the tiles that we turn into stone. It has done absolutely amazing, and I am not sorry for this. So, I mean, it was a quick, brief thing, but I mean, I love this place, and maybe it's not perfect, but y'all, this is a really gorgeous, to me, this is a gorgeous lodge home. I couldn't be happier. Let me take you back to the kitchen. All right, so to get back to the moral of why I created this video in particular, before we start hitting into what is fixing to happen on this homestead, I seen something on Facebook the other day, and I ended up sharing it. It's called Not Enough. And so I have fell in that trap many times before while we were raising our kids, is there was just never enough gifts under the tree. And then there were times as the kids grew up that I was sad. I was literally sad, and especially for me and my husband. I don't remember the last time we bought gifts even for us. Our tree has always been just a tree, and there's really never been any gifts under it. And at one point, I used to think that that was the most awfulest thing I could have ever had every Christmas. You know, I was always upset because we didn't have anything, or I always thought that this is the way it should have been, but what I didn't understand was I was in this worldly mind, not giving thanks for what I did have, a gift under the tree. So this post on Facebook brought me to the memory, and I had to stop and think about this. In the years past, and even since I was a little girl, we think about, well, what did we open? What was our gift? Do we even remember our gifts? So I went back thinking back when I was a little girl. I went back even to my teenagers and my adult life. And to be honest, I don't remember. What I do remember are the memories. And this is where it became absolutely amazing. Everything that was store-bought and wrapped and put under that tree, I can't remember a single thing. Honestly, very little can I remember of what was ever given to me for Christmas. But what I do remember is the memories. Growing up, there was a time that absolutely none of us could actually afford to get Christmas. So we did what was called a drawing. And we each chose a name in our family. But there was a thing to that. We could not store buy anything. What we had to do was make something and create it from our own two hands. We had to come up with an idea that would suit that person and make, back in the days of the pioneers, and just make their Christmas gift for them. Now, I remember this gorgeous cabinet my daddy was building for my aunt because she had blown glass. And as I watched my daddy create this, gorgeous cabinet. It had glass shelving and it had this light come down. It was absolutely gorgeous. It was something I seen out of my dad I never seen before. Then I watched my mama. My mama created this gorgeous, old-fashioned, we're talking, how do I even explain it? Country, the twirling umbrellas, and I forget the name that they call them. Anyways, the Southern Belle, that's it, the Southern Belle. She would create such gorgeous dolls, and I was watching her create this and thinking what craftsmanship she had just to make this. It was amazing, from the curls in her hair to out of fur, fake fur. She would just turn this material into something so amazingly gorgeous. And it struck me this Thanksgiving why I became so talented to do what I'm able to do in this homestead, in this kitchen, and how I'm able to provide for this family, or even make the things that we might not be able to. Like, I make my own paper towels, and yes, I have to wash. But there's no difference. I save money and I'm using an absorbent paper towel. I make my own aprons. I don't have to purchase them for high amount of dollars. I can go get a material that's on sale, come home and make my own apron. I know how to sew. I give thanks for these abilities. So thinking about that, I ended up having this really deep moment with me and God. I'm being thankful for what I have. So I don't have a fancy house, and you will never see that on my YouTube channels. But what you will see is lived in. What you will see was a home that really nobody wanted, like our life, that we took in, and we loved it just like Christ loved us. When the world didn't want us, God does. And when we turn around and neglect things in life, even a home, somebody along the line is going to take that and they're going to love it like no other. And that's exactly what we did to this little, what we call our cabin. We had a dream, and though our dream was not fulfilled the way we envisioned it, in a sense of its own self, we turned this old house into our little cabin. Every Christmas when I decorate this house, I think of the prettiest, most gorgeous lodge I have ever seen in my life. Y'all, I am blessed beyond measure in the times that we are living in. Like I said, I sleep at night in peace because I don't have to worry about a house payment. I do have a roof over my head, and I garden every spring and every summer into fall. I will take all of our crops and even our livestock. I will take our eggs. I cherish everything that we do because it's a provision, even though we work hard for. It is a provision for us that when times are so hard, like they are right now, when we seriously can't afford much, and not a lot of us can. I am literally watching people who are homeless or hungry. They don't know what to do, and I have to give thanks because I till the soil and I work the land. I will come in and can our food and put it on our shelf. I will fill our freezer with every sales that I can find, divide it up, and I will create a meal out of that. And for that I am blessed. For that I am thankful because it is a gift. And so I get on here on YouTube and I create this channel to reach out to others, to share that blessing with you. Now, although things had to change because our dietary lifestyle had to change, it's still in a way that I could reach out to so many of you. And regardless, it's a way that we can all have something together. Now, I had fallen somewhat into depression, and so I started doing something that I shouldn't have done, so I'm back on track. But I started eating things way out of my comfort, and yeah, okay, so here I am. I'm not perfect, and so I'm going back to it. Now, I will say, I thought it was the end of the world when we canceled our gym because it was $70 a month, and I told you wintertime is hard for us and our family, and honestly, the times that we're in now, it's even harder, y'all. So there was no way, realistically, I was being selfish, and so $70 a month for a gym was crazy. But I did find somebody, and if you're like me, I am, honestly, I'm 57 years old. I just turned 57, and though I'm not 20, I'm still very active. So there is a lady, her name is Petra Ginkgo, Genco. She does some low impact exercises, but Lord, let me tell y'all, she does them within 15-20 minute increments, and you will feel the burn. You will start sweating, and you will do some workout. And I'm starting to work with her. I'm saving $70 a month. I'm getting my exercise, plus I work out here, and I can walk. There is no excuses for me. There's no excuses to indulge in something I know is already bad for me. I knew better, and well, I just started falling into this trap. I got to the point is, you all know that I love the Lord with all my heart and soul. But there's also a point where I have to put the brakes on and say, you know what? Not today, Satan. I'm over it. Today is my day. And I, just like you, I'm human, y'all. I get into my things, and sometimes I just have to say it's time to go back. I look at my tree. You know, sometimes we feel the crunch and the pressure because we feel like we're expected to do this and that even comes with our family. And we had to just tell our family, I'm sorry. If this is what you expect from us, then we're going to disappoint you. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, we're just simply going to disappoint you because it's not going to happen the way you think it is. We're going to do what we have to do, and that's about all we can do. But one thing we can give you that the world can't is we can give you a lot of love. So y'all, this channel that's exactly what I can do. I can give you as much information that I know. I could sit in my kitchen with you. I have a pantry challenge coming up, and it's going to be quite long. In about 2 to 3 weeks, y'all, we're cracking down on the homestead. And this is our future. We have Christmas coming up, so we will be doing our one final bulk haul. Once we do that final bulk haul, and that will be carrying us over into the new year, we, more than likely for us, we will start 2 weeks before Three Rivers Homestead starts hers. Now, Three Rivers Homestead started this pantry challenge a few years ago, and she starts at the 1st of January and goes all the way to the end of February. Where me and my husband, we will literally take this as far as we possibly can, because we live in a world where it's hard. Economically, it's really tough. Financially, it's even tougher, because until spring, my husband's job, we're lucky if he can just do 40 hours a week. And then with that, we have to pay our basic bills. Now, yes, we have a lot of things paid off, but we still have our basics that need to be taken care of. We do not indulge in anything out of our means. We keep our bills realistically, so this way we can do survival. A lot of people, if you want to live in high debt, that's totally up to you, but we choose not to. We sat down one day. I'll give you a prime example. We used to live out of our means, and it got to the point we literally lost everything. We sat down one day and we decided we're going to make up a plan. What do we need the most? What do we want? And where do we see our future? Well, now, at that time, I told you we were living on a semi-truck. We didn't have a home. We didn't have anything, y'all. So we started doing one thing at a time. We knew one day we would need a vehicle. So we started on a vehicle. We saved enough money to go get an old, and we're still using this 10 years later. We're still using that same 93 model pickup, bought and paid for in full. We own the title to it. Now, mind you, I'm not telling you this video to boast and brag. There's a purpose for all of this, y'all. So we paid that off. Now it's an old model. It is nothing fancy. It's not this newer 2023 vehicles. It's an old 93. But it's the best thing that I had ever driven in my life. It's economical. It's super cheap on gas. And we're making it through. Again, we don't have a payment. So our next thought after that is, where do we go from here? We already purchased our vehicle, but now we knew we needed a place to live. We needed a place that we could call home, where nobody could kick us out anymore. We needed a place that we could just say, this is it, we can settle down, and that was it. So that's when it came to this. Now, we bought this house, and we were making payments. At the time, it was pretty cheap. It was one of those homes that you never think would happen to you, but it happens to everybody else. Well, it did happen for us. I think our house payments, now, rent today, Lord have mercy, you're lucky if you can find anywhere from $800 to $1,000 in rent. But this place here was $225 a month for house payment. We were paying on just payments. We were entrusted with it. So it got to the point where it was a 5-year plan, I think it was, to pay this house off at $225 a month. It was something like that. So we were paying our payments every month. And then one day it was time for me. We knew that we had to start working on this place. So we had to work in materials on top of the payments. And we had to get our electric. Now, these were all new things in our life that we never done before. So we really had to crack down. We had to sit down and figure out how we were going to manage our bills. Somehow we did manage to, very carefully, not going out of our means. We did not get all these fancy, channels for cable and all of this stuff. We kept it simple. And so we were able to fix this place up to make it livable. We got our lights turned on. We had it inspected. And we started buying our first, well, not our first house, but literally our forever home. So we got to the point where my husband said, I just can't do this anymore. And he wanted off the road. I was already living here. And so we figured out, well, how we were going to do this, because it was going to get tough. Now, we knew that we owned the rig. Now, that was a major sacrifice in itself. We're talking a $60,000 semi-truck that we sacrificed everything for that truck. But I will tell you all, we literally paid that off. We owned that truck. And so let's see, I think it took us about 10 years to own it. And after that, owning it with our title, we decided, since he didn't want to drive the truck anymore, we were going to make an executive decision. We figured out what we owed to finish off paying this house. Let me tell you, God is an amazing God when you think with your head and you sit down and find out what you really need in life. When we sat down and we started making all these figures out, we put a for sale sign on our rig. Now, I will tell you, we never got what the truck was worth. We never got what we were asking out of that truck. But what we did get was just enough. We got just enough. And God is an amazing God. At one point, we had some problems with the motor of that truck, so we ended up taking out a loan, and we got to pay that off out of what we sold the truck for. The rest of it was exactly what it needed to pay our house off. What more could we ask for? So that was, oh Lord have mercy, about 3 years ago now. 3 or 4 years ago. No, it was 4 years ago, going on 5. So yeah, my husband, immediately after that, he found an amazing local job. I mean, it wasn't long he was out of work either. So, I mean, God's time and his planning was so perfect for us. Now, again, I'm not boasting and bragging. I'm telling you, we took an old gutted out house and fixed it up. We end up taking a rig that we paid for and selling it to pay this place off. We took an old model pickup truck because we don't live in the world of updated, fancy. We're living, I guess, in the times of the old and past. The things that people don't want, we want. And we are living our richest life we ever could. If you're catching on to the moral of this video, sometimes we could want more than what's good for us. Sometimes we think we have to have, and in the end of it all, when we stop and think about, do we really need this, or where it's going to go in life, we're not promised every day of our life to live here. 2020 taught me that. And everything that I have here, I can't take it with me. So I'm learning to appreciate what I have. I'm learning to take care of what God gave me. I'm learning so much these days, and I'm blessed and thankful to the point, yes, I'm very emotional this Christmas, because God has given us the greatest gift we could ever have. And it isn't what is surrounding us right here. But for me, it's eternal life. A life of gratitude, a life of peace, a life of joy, a life of satisfaction, and a life of knowing that I have something so much more greater for me than even what is here on earth. I share with you because I truly, truly love you. And we will be working together, because I'm going to show you how to use what we have stored for the winter. Why we stored for the winter, I've already explained that to you, is due to my husband's job, because he does work a seasonal job being in a asphalt company. But I will tell you and show you, you will spend time in the kitchen this winter with us, creating meals, Mediterranean, low carb for diabetics, and all around healthy meals. It is very possible to have meals that look gourmet for super dirt cheap. And be so wholesome and healthy for you. I'm going to show you how to save money. Last year, I think we figured out we saved about $800. Now, we didn't major grocery shop, to be honest with you, for 4 months. We started 2 weeks before Christmas, and we didn't go back to major shopping until late March. And that was freaking amazing. No, I take that back. It wasn't March. It was April. It was April, almost May. And that's when we started planting seeds in the ground too. So it was amazing. We saved, if it was at least the least amount, we saved about 800, and it was probably even more than that, to be honest with you. So now I will tell you, that does not mean we won't be shopping. We don't have the means on this small homestead. As I said, we don't have a farm. So we do have to buy our dairy. We do have to buy certain bread sources. And so things like this we do have to get. Sometimes we do have to get fresh vegetables because that is also our lifestyle. But what we do is cut our cost. Sometimes we will find a sale. Oh, I got to tell you about a sale that we found. So I'll take you through an opportunity we had this Thanksgiving. I think it was Friday. It was Black Friday. We really couldn't afford nothing, but we just wanted to get out of the house. So we went to Walmart and we just started looking at their sales. And we heard this thing over the intercom saying that they had this sale on turkey breasts. They were half off. Me and my husband looked at each other like, what? So we went looking at the turkey breast, and I think they were honeysuckle. And those turkey breasts, y'all, their prices, they were actually more than 50% off, because the prices were no more from $6.22 to $6.27. Now, us being who we are, and we didn't want to take away from everybody, because we could have loaded up the buggy if we wanted to. We're not that way, but we did purchase 3 of them. 2 of them went in the freezer. One, they were already defrosting, I think, is the reason why they were marking these down. So one was already starting to defrost. The others were still frozen. So we put them in the freezer. I put the other one in the refrigerator and let it fully defrost. We baked that one and turned it into sandwich meat. It was amazing. We actually smoked it. Beautiful flavor. So we take advantage of sales like that, and we will stock our freezer. If I had to eat fish and poultry, and here's the other thing that I'll take you on an example in our rig that taught me about this. So if I had to eat fish and poultry every single day for all winter long, I'm going to tell you, I will be the one who will be grateful for that. And here's why. Back when I told you about the sacrifices on the semi-truck when we were buying it. There came a point where loads were just awful. And every time we ended up getting a good load, something would happen to the truck and it would keep going in the shop. So we weren't really making any money. We couldn't afford to eat out on this thing anymore. We had a refrigerator, but we could barely afford to even put any food in the truck. And so I had told you that there was imprints knees in the rig before because of prayer. And this is why those prayers were literally serious to us. Like, my prayer at that time was, Lord, how are we going to eat? How are we going to be able to do this? We can't even keep this truck running. So we ended up with a deal, again, how God works. We had what was called a dry van, and that's one of those long trailers. And so in dry vans, you rarely get a rejected load. We'll be honest. So we ended up with one of those rare rejected loads. And nonchalantly, it was with tuna fish. This is an amazing story. So 1 can on a complete it was a box, a case, a nice big case of tuna fish was rejected because the one can was punctured. So my husband went through the process. We had to go through the rejection, and nonchalantly, long story short, we were told to toss it. Okay, so the two of us were sitting there thinking, we could actually make use of what was here. It was going to be tossed no matter what. So we tossed the bad one, and so we took the rest and we kept it. I mean, when you're hungry, y'all, you're going to do what you need to do. So we kept it. And so we went into the truck stop and we made a tuna sandwich. And I'm going to tell you, that was the best tuna fish sandwich I had ever eaten. We went and got the condiments of relish, mayonnaise, the little packs that they have at the hot dog station and all that. Yes, we did that because we had nothing. Remember that. I had a couple slices of bread. So anyways, we made a tuna fish sandwich, and I started to take a bite, and my husband said, "Stop." Now, y'all, my stomach was growling at this point. My mouth was drooling because we were so hungry, and this tuna fish sandwich was the most amazing thing I had ever laid my eyes on at this moment. And my husband asked me, "What did Jesus feed the multitudes?" Y'all, I'm going to tell you, in an embarrassing moment of my life, that was the one time my sarcasm bit me in the tail. In some sense of the way, I wished I never replied what I did reply, because I regret that. But in a way, I don't. My stupid reply to the question that my husband asked me, what did Jesus feed the multitudes? My stupid reply was tuna fish sandwiches. I heard a voice come from my husband that was not him. And I knew at that point that was my Father using my husband when I heard the word, "Stop it." And my husband looked at me again and said, "I repeat, what did Jesus feed the multitudes?" And I promise you all, that is not what I heard. I heard, "What did my son feed the multitudes?" Whoosh. It humbled me so quickly. I actually put that sandwich down. I cried, and I put my hands up, and I thanked God for the fish that He provided me and my husband from nothing. I turned my head and looked in the back of the multitude of fish that we had to keep us sustained and going for quite some time when we didn't have nothing. Gratitude, y'all. Being thankful for when you have nothing to finally you have something. Gratitude. That's what this video is about. Being grateful for what you have and not worrying about what we don't have. At that point, I got to another part of it where I was never so ashamed is I got sick and tired of having tuna fish all the time, and I complained. Well, I had this thing about opening my Bible. I would have study in the truck because I was a passenger at this point, and sometimes these roads could be boring. And I was reading in the Bible, and it came to the point where he was taking his people across through Egypt and everything, and he was headed towards the promised land. Now, he provided his people with manna. He provides us with things, and these folks were provided with lots of manna. But he told them, he actually said, don't engorge on it. Take what you need. Because if you took more than what you needed, it would sour. It would spoil. You know, we do that. We sometimes think we need more than what we actually need. We will take and take and take. But when we take, we end up throwing away so much that we don't need. So it becomes waste. So he had told them about the manna, and it got to the point people complained because that's all they had was manna. I started realizing, uh-oh, I'm heading to some trouble here, and God is fixing to talk to me. And at one point in that passage, God provided them with the fowl of the earth. And we're talking about any type of bird these folks could have. There was so much bird that they engorged themselves till they were sick. And I thought, holy smokes. Okay, I get it. And I mean, I sat there and literally started crouching down in my seat. My husband noticed. He goes, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yep, I just got humbled." I said, I talk at those moments is I just got a whooping from the Lord, because I was sitting here complaining about a gift that God had given us because I had to eat the same thing every single day. And instead of giving thanks for being able just to have nourishment in my body, which fish, omega-3, what more could I have ever really wanted? These folks were provided for. They got the nourishment. They had everything. They were alive. They were being able to have a healthy lifestyle where most people don't. And there are literally people who don't even have that. But we were blessed. So I'm hoping this, I don't know if this is for anybody, but it sure humbles me. It sure makes me grateful for what I have. And you know what? If I don't have a gift under that Christmas tree, you saw what I get to look at every single day. And I'm thankful for that, because I could be homeless once again. I have a kitchen that I could come into, and a pantry I can walk into and take food from there, come into this kitchen, stand at this stove, or go to my wood heater and cook. I may be old-fashioned, but I'm a survivor. I may live an old-fashioned pioneer life, but I enjoy this simple life, because I don't have to keep up with the Joneses in the backyard who is so full of debt and they don't know how they're going to make it one day to the next. I live a simple life because I'm at peace with it. I live a simple life because it's more easier to maintain and manage. And I live a simple life because it's who I am, and that's exactly what I love to do. I'm a simple girl. I'm a country girl. I'm an old-fashioned pioneer. I love going and gathering my chickens in my basket, coming in. I love making my own ghee, grabbing my frying pan, and make my own breakfast. I love baking that beautiful loaf of bread that I smell every time in my nice, warm, cozy cabin. And I give thanks every single day for every provision that God helps me to be able to do all of this. Because, folks, there are literally people out here who don't have that. We were once in their shoes when we didn't have a roof over our head. We were once in their shoes when we didn't have food to eat. It's a real world, y'all. And it's getting worse and worse. There are people who are being chosen over others, and it's becoming a game that's very, very sick. Be thankful for your family. Be thankful for what you do have. Try not to worry about what you don't have, and know that sometimes what you have is enough. Stop worrying about what you don't have enough of. Cherish what you do have, because sometimes that little bit is more than enough. Would you remember it? Or is the memories more important than anything else in this world? My memories are very fond with my family. I may not remember those gifts. I'll just be honest, I don't remember those gifts, but I do remember every Christmas Eve. God love that woman. I miss her every day, but she gave me a gift to take with me, and that was to be able to create the most amazing food in my kitchen. But my mama, every Christmas Eve, early in the morning, would wake up and she would start baking and cooking, because our Christmas day would be a buffet like we ain't never seen before. We didn't have a traditional Christmas. We had a buffet style Christmas. Mama would make some of the most amazing cookies, our kolachki cookies and our pecan crescent cookies. She would make us our crab salad and our little smokies and shrimp cups. Mama would turn a buffet of gourmet foods for us to just finger foods. And I took that as a tradition and brought that to my own family. Memories. You know, I can't remember a single Christmas gift, but I can remember that. How many memories can you remember right this moment? And how many gifts do you remember when you were a child that you opened? Y'all, I'm onto something here. Memories. I remember every Christmas, well, no, it was Christmas Day Mama would do this, but Christmas Eve we would go to my grandparents, and so we had two different grandparents. One, we would go at one and then have the meal, and then we would go to our other. So we would split it, and we were so full when we got home. It was crazy. But I remember being with my cousins and my aunts and my uncles and my grandparents, and I remember every Christmas Eve what we all did. But I don't remember those gifts. I remember traditions. I remember laughters. And it's things that I miss. Cherish what you have. Be thankful. And know that word not enough, erase that. Because maybe what you have is just more than enough. And I'm going to leave it at this, y'all. I love each and every one of you. We will be getting back in the kitchen again very, very soon. We will be making our final grocery haul, and when we do, I'm going to show you exactly what we're going to do to make it through a winter. And from what I'm understanding, Mississippi is fixing to get cold. Probably a cold that we have not seen before. So I'm ready. And I'm going to show you how we're going to make it. So, I know I missed Thanksgiving with y'all, so I hope you had an amazing Thanksgiving. I hope you found things that you are seriously thankful for. And as we step into Christmas, let's have some fun, and I will see what I can do to help create meals with you and take you on a pantry challenge to show you everybody how you can make some lovely meals on your table, even during the hard times. I love you. God bless each and every one of you. And until next time, much love from Parton's Heritage Homestead.